Okay, Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. We're going to be starting from where we left off in the last lesson, which is وَالدَّلِيلُ الْخَوْفِ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى فَلَا تَخَافُوهُمْ وَخَافُونِ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. So the Shaykh gave us examples of different types of ibadah, and because before that we learned that you shouldn't direct or divert any of this ibadah to Allah, to other than Allah. So you should know what these types of ibadah are. Okay, so we covered the first one. The first one was dua, or invoking, or invocation, and dua should only be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the next one we have is fear. Okay, wa dalilul khawf. So fear, there could be natural fear when you fear something or someone has a phobia. Okay, and there's fear that can become a worship. So when does fear become a worship? Fear becomes a worship when a person fears something or someone like the way you should only be fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, if someone fears that for example someone at the other side of the world, okay, can hear them and see them, obviously without the technology, and he has this fear, okay. Or when some people have fear of certain things, okay, and to an extent where they give them supernatural powers, okay, where they think that these things can hear them, see them, okay, control their lives, or fear like bad luck charms, or the omens. So this type of fear, where it doesn't have a natural or scientific explanation for the person to be harmed by such a thing, then it will be similar to fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Shaykh says, Allah said in the Quran, فَلَا تَخَافُوهُمْ وَخَافُونِ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking to the believers, He said, don't fear them and fear me if you are truly believers. Okay, so that shows that when you fear something, it shouldn't reach to a level the way you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'll give you examples of how some people fear certain things and it becomes a form of worship. For example, some people fear that if they don't give charity, or if they don't sacrifice something for a jinn or for evil spirit or whatever, they think that they will be harmed by this. So that becomes a form of worship, and that fear is, for example, haram. Okay, so you're giving them supernatural powers and thinking that these things can influence your life. Okay, and people who, for example, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us an example of the jinn, how Quraysh at the beginning, the Arabs, they used to fear, like when they're going through like some valleys, they will call upon certain jinns, and they call upon these jinns, and they used to think these powerful jinns will protect them from the other jinns. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that this actually increased their fear. Yeah. Was the ayah was وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَزَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. So Allah said there were certain there were men who were seeking protection from the jinn, okay, but that increased their fear even more. So going through these valleys, because they were afraid of these jinns, they would seek refuge with these other jinns, or they would seek refuge with these jinns, these powerful jinns, thinking that these jinns will not harm them if they give them this form of worship. So anyways, connection with refuge. So when you fear something, you also seek refuge and protection. So normally these two things are connected. Yeah. So a person should only fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to a certain level, and that is a form of ibadah. The next one, the Shaykh says, yeah, you should fear other people or other things to a certain level, but only fear Allah without a limit, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the power to influence your life, whether it's in the future or whether it's at the present. And the next type of ibadah, the Shaykh says, وَالدَّلِيلُ الرَّجَاء قَوْلُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ رَبِّهِ فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا وَلَا يُشْرِكْ بِعِبَادَةِ رَبِّهِ أَحَدًا. Okay? And the evidence for hope, that hope is also a form of ibadah. It becomes a form of ibadah. And Allah said in the Quran, whoever hopes to meet his Lord, then he should do righteous deeds, and he should not associate partners with Allah, partners with his Lord in worship. So here we can see that people associate partners with Allah in this form of worship, which is hope. So if a person hopes, okay, something that only Allah gives from something else, that becomes a form of worship. So if someone hopes that a lucky charm will bring them benefit, okay, then this becomes a form of worship, and it's haram, and it's shirk. Okay, when a person hopes for only, he puts all his hope into the dunya, he doesn't hope for the next life, okay, he completely loses the opposite, he completely loses hope. This is also a disbelief. Yeah, this is also disbelief, when a person completely loses hope, or he has, for example, no hope, yeah, completely. This is also disbelieving in Allah, because you have to have some hope. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran that only the disbelievers lose or go in despair and completely lose hope. Yeah, as Shu'aib or Yaqub alayhi salam in the Surah Yusuf, when he said that he said only when he didn't lose hope in his son Yusuf and finding him, and he said that only the disbelievers lose hope. Yeah, so here we can find that hope also can become a form of worship. Okay, and it is a form of worship, but there's natural hope as well. You can hope for things that have a logical explanation, hoping that someone will help you, hoping that your work and your efforts will bring you benefit. Like, for example, a person hopes he will make money, he hopes that he will pass the exam after he puts the efforts. So there's a natural way of gaining something and having hope. But if it becomes unnatural, where there's no explanation to it, or hoping that dead people will bring you benefit, or hoping that a jinn will bring you some benefit, yeah, because normally these jinns will expect you to do worship for them, or hoping, for example, a sheikh who's passed away a long time ago, like some people call to a sheikh called Abdul Qadir Jilani, and they hope for him to give them certain things, and then people abused this, and they tell, for example, people who visit the graves that, put some money there, and then this sheikh will intercede on your behalf, or this Abdul Qadir Jilani will give you this. So hope is, it can lead to a form of worship when somebody takes it to that level of worship that should only be given to Allah, and it becomes, if a person gives it to anyone other than Allah, it becomes shirk. Is that clear? Is that clear? Does that make sense?
Yeah, Sheikh. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, that's clear. Yeah.
Okay. The next one, والدليل التوكل قوله تعالى وعلى الله فتوكلوا إن كنتم مؤمنين وقوله ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه. So tawakkul, okay, is putting trust in something. Yeah. Naturally, when you put trust, or normally when you put trust in natural things and within what people are able to do, that's fine. But if you put all your trust in money, for example, making money, or you put all your trust in yourself, thinking that you are able to do everything and you don't depend on anything else, then that will become shirk. Okay, because a person should depend on Allah. Okay, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you depend on Allah somehow, so you have to put your trust in Allah as well. You can trust in other people and rely on them in what they're able to do, but when does tawakkul or putting trust in something or someone become a form of worship when you take it beyond the limit or to an extent where only that type of reliance and trust is you'll only do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave us examples and he said ta'isa abdu dinar wa ta'isa abdu dirham, okay, the slave of the money, the dinar and the dirham, which is the money that was used even now is used dinar and dirham, which is dinar is the gold coins and dirham is the silver. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said the worshipper or the slave of gold and silver coins is dinar and dirham, may he be destroyed, yeah, and may he fall on his face. If he receives it, he will be happy. If he doesn't receive it, he will completely lose hope. Okay, so that means that person's put all his trust in this wealth, okay, and his desires and everything is based around just making money. So this is a form of putting reliance and trusting in money, thinking that money will bring you everything. Or some people put their trust in science, thinking that science has the answers for everything. Doctors can cure everything, okay, even though they can't. But forgetting that you know, even when people plan, they plan because they plan and they think that with their planning and their management will, they rely on that. They never think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says in the Quran, وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَتَوَكَّلُوا, and upon Allah rely if you are true believers. Okay, and whoever relies, وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ, and whoever relies and puts his trust in Allah, Allah is sufficient for him. Okay, so the scholars also mention the difference between tawakkul and tawakkul, or to basically relying. They say one is to rely on Allah while taking the necessary steps to achieve something, and one where people say they're going to rely on Allah and they don't take the necessary steps to achieve something. So if someone sits in his house and says, oh, I'm putting my trust in Allah and I will make money and I will become rich, no, that it doesn't work like that. Yeah. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave us an example of how a person should put his trust in Allah, and he gave us an example of how the bird leaves his house early in the morning. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لو كنتم تتوكلون على الله حق التوكل لرزقكم كما يرزق الطير تغدو خماصا وتروح بطانا. If you were to put your trust in Allah like the way a bird does, you would get your rizq, okay? Or He will provide for you the way He provides for the bird. The bird leaves its nest early in the morning, okay, with an empty stomach, and returns with a full belly, full stomach. So that hadith shows us how to put trust in Allah and the tawakkul, which is like if you can see the bird leaving its house early in the morning, or its nest early in the morning, it's making an effort. It goes every day with nothing. It comes back with food. There's not one. You never see a bird. I say to people, you never see a bird begging. Have you ever seen birds beg? They don't beg because they will find their rizq. They leave, and every single day they don't have anything saved, but every day they find something, and they're still alive. So this is how we should put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if people put their trust in the savings that they have, or they put their trust in their abilities and their powers and their intelligence or their education or other people, and they completely forget Allah, then that's dangerous. So tawakkul can become relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is worship. And if you take it to an extreme where you rely on someone or something, that's why a lot of people are committing suicide, because they completely rely on, for example, their income, or they rely on their savings, and then when they lose their work or they lose something, they commit suicide. But the person, as a believer, you should continue because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide for you, and you shouldn't lose hope. So this is kind of connected as well. Hope, like what we mentioned, and reliance. So the Shaykh goes on. I'm not going to cover all of them. I'll just do maybe this next one. وَدَلِيلُ الرَّغْبَةِ وَالرَّهْبَةِ وَالْخُشُوعِ قوله تعالى إنهم كانوا يسارعون في الخيرات ويدعوننا رغبا وَكَانُوا لَنَا خَاشِعِينَ. Okay, I'm just checking that you're still with me. We're every couple of minutes I have to check. So you all understand this, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the Shaykh gives us evidence for another 3 types of ibadah which are mentioned together. The first one is raghbah, okay? The second one is rahbah and khushu'. Raghbah is to love something, okay, and to want something, but with action. Rahbah is to fear something, but with action, okay? And khushu' is to have fear, okay, but with also you can say it's translated as being humble. Is being humble, okay, or humility. Rahba, what do they translate rahba as? Or raghba and rahba? What do they put in the translation? Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I lost my place.
Okay, so raghba and rahba and khushu'. It's just after hope, relying on Allah. It's fine, I'll continue. Tell me when you find it, inshallah. So the Shaykh says the evidence for these 3 is in one ayah, okay? قوله تعالى إنهم كانوا, verily they used to strive, okay, and hasten towards the khair, and they used to call us or call upon us, invoke us, raghban, with this love and with the fear, and they were humble, okay, and they had this khushu'. So who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about? In here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the prophets. So the prophets used to sari'un means they would hasten, okay? Sara means to do something quickly. So they would hasten towards the khair. So that means they never used to think twice. They would not be at the back, hesitating. They would be at the forefront when it comes to doing the khair. So that's describing the prophets, yeah? وَيَدْعُونَنَا, and they will also invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their dua was with raghba, when they wanted something, okay, and they were hoping for something. So raghba is when you love something and you put action as well, okay? So for example, it could mean they used to worship us and they would show this worship through the love that they have in their ibadah and in their actions, okay? And warahba is fear, okay, with action. So when a person has fear in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he translates this into behavior. So they showed their love through their behavior, in their worship, in their sujood, in their dealings with other people, and they showed their fear in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this also was expressed and showed in their behavior, okay, this fear that they had. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وَكَانُوا لَنَا خَاشِعِينَ, and they were humble, okay, towards us, meaning in their prayers they had this khushu', okay, they were humble and they submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were not arrogant. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the prophets. So all these 3 are types of worship. So when does a person turn this 3 into worship and associating it with other than Allah? For example, when a person loves something so much and he puts all his effort into it. For example, if a person is obsessed with a certain type of action, okay, and he loves it, or a type of sport or type of a hobby, he's obsessed, that takes all his attention and all his love, and it diverts him from remembering Allah. It diverts him, makes him forget salah, makes him forget the fasting, it becomes a form of worship somehow. Yeah, and that only should be that addiction to that level where, or that submission only should be to Allah and to the in the religion. And fear, when someone has, for example, some people have, you know how they have a phobia, or they have a fear of something to an extent, their behavior is so much that they completely it distracts them from everything else. Yeah, we're not talking about someone who's mentally ill, or someone who is has a disorder. But if there's someone who normally having this fear, and then it translates in his actions, where he's always running away from something and always afraid of something, and showing in his actions, and that distracts him from his worshipping of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the next one, the last one, is the khushu'. So a person should have khushu' and humility and be humble towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see many people, they will bow down to you, okay? They will, if you're a manager, if you're someone who is in a higher position, if they want to become given the what do they call it, the OMB, like they will bow down for the queen and to receive an award and all of that. So this khushu' and this humbleness and all of that is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we're prohibited to make sujood for other than Allah. And also bowing, we're not allowed to bow for other than Allah. Okay? So salah in itself completely is khushu', the prayer, the bowing the head, and standing and lowering the gaze, looking at the ground, and the sujood and the ruku'. So this humility and humbling yourself, you don't humiliate yourself to that extent, you only do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So I think in the next lesson, inshallah, we'll cover some of the others. I think I might have gone a bit too much in detail, but do you have any questions regarding this?
No.
No questions, yeah. Abdul Khan, you have any questions?
No question, Sheikh.
No questions. Okay, khalas. So you all understand that, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, khair, inshallah. So you all understand you all understand the three types, the types of worship that we've covered, and when it becomes worship and when it doesn't become worship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, khair, inshallah. I'll just stop.